Hi guys, welcome to this week's video. This week is a bit of a compilation of pretty much the whole week. You probably can, I have said this many times, but I have not been feeling in the best drawing mood game thing. So I thought a week full of just pin making, crafty things would be just the best. So you saw I just sculpted a little bit of clay, and while that was drying, it takes around a day and a half, I just took some shrink film I had and I just went to town. I have a bunch of leftovers from a time that I was really trying to just print out my designs on shrink film and shrink them, and then I just tried to make pins out of it, but there was always a problem. There was either just the goop that I put on top, I think it was Mod Podge, would just bleed out the colors, or just the printing ink would not stick to the shrink film. So unfortunately I was never able to. I saw a bunch of tutorials, I tried a bunch of different shrink films, and I just can never reproduce them. I just always have to just do them by hand. So the first one was just a little tryout, and then I did a little couple of pair of earrings that they're just for me. I just thought they were super cute, so I just had a lovely time just making these. Shrink film is pretty cool, but it can be quite stressful because it can just stick to each other and it's a mess. I tried to do a little bit of a different shot angles, and you can see me talking to my friends that night, so that was also very fun. And here are the earrings done. I really like them, I think they're very cute. So pretty much the next day, don't mind me, I just watching Bailey Salim, I think that's her name. So after the pins are dry, I sand them down. They really need to be sanded. This clay gets wrinkly, it just gets a lot of texture, so I really need to sand these down. And after that, I just paint them over. I tried this time to just make horns, and to admit, I am not the best at sculpting things. It's not my forte, but I think it's so cool. I have a friend that does earrings and she sculpts a lot, and I think it just looks so cool. And this clay does not allow it a lot, but these horns were the most it allowed me to do it, and maybe I could try some more in the future. I definitely like making the pins with the horns. I think it's just something very different and very cool. Something different as well this time, I pretty much scrapped nail polish. Because, I don't know, I just think it's time for me to step up my game, and I moved to resin. Now this resin is also pretty old. I tried to use it by the time I was doing my shrink fill pins, trying, emphasis on the trying. It looked cool, but in some cases the resin would eat up the color. I swear to God, that time of just trying to make pens tested my patience, my perseverance, tested everything. It was a time, my God. I know that it can work with this because, I mean, it's just this ink, this paint is just gouache. So I tried it, it worked, and I think it looks much better. And I basically do 2 coats, or maybe 3 kinda. So the first coat is after all of the paint is done, and then I go in with acrylic paint, as you'll see in a second. Mostly because the acrylic paints hold on a lot better on the smooth surface of the resin rather than the more porous surface of the clay, and it actually sometimes picks up the paint and it just creates a mess. So I try to do a clear resin coat first and then go with the paint, so I think that looks really cool. And then sometimes I just go with another one just to make it sure. So these pins also have something very special that I wanted to try and make. I wanted to try and make them more inspired by Kabuki masks, not just a simple face. And so this was very experimental. This whole thing, I had no idea if it's going to work. I need something different and I don't feel like drawing. So this was actually what I needed, and to be honest, I'm still not in the best drawing mood, but it's going there. Going back to the topic, basically what I wanted to do was to create sort of a Kabuki mask, and for that I pre-made, while I was molding, some holes on each side, and my plan was to just make a sort of rope with red string to mimic also some of the designs I usually make. I really like Kabuki masks. You probably know because I draw them a lot. And I just love the red string around it. I think it's a very cool pop of color. And it took me like a day or two to just try and learn that rope, which is super simple. I tried a bunch of them. I think I went for I first looked at friendship bracelets, and then I thought of I don't quite remember the name. It was like paracord something core bracelets, and that really worked, but I still had to see a few tutorials to actually get it right. Took me a bit, but I think in the end it came out pretty cool, if I may say so myself. So here you can see that I'm actually putting the acrylic pen, like I said, on top of the resin, and it just works much better. It's just much easier to work with. I won't risk having the gouache actually lift off the pen, which sometimes it did happen, so I'm much happy that I went with this direction. And resin is a bit stinky, so if you use it, I would advise to just clear out the room. In the beginning I did use gloves, but I didn't have the latex ones. I only had the dishwashing ones. So I kind of scrapped it and just went with my hands. I did have a rag holding the bottle because the bottle was kind of leaking from being so old. I got the resin at Alibaba, I believe, maybe 2 years ago, and just now I'm finishing it, but honestly I used like half this week because I just really went to town with resin. And I already ordered some more, this time from Wish. You can find it somewhere else, but it will be probably a bit more expensive, and I don't have a lot of money to just invest in things. Maybe in the future I will, but right now I really have to go to the cheapest option, which Wish, Alibaba, stuff like that. Here you can see some have already ropes, but I redid them because they were a bit too long. So I will be redoing those, but I just wanted to show you that they just look so shiny, and I really like the rose metallic antique gold that they have. I really like it. The other ones, these ones already have the brooch backing, which is actually a gift from a friend. He had a bunch of just pieces of this, so he just gifted me, and I'm very thankful. And yeah, here you can see me trying to just do the ropes. By this time I was already pretty comfortable with it. I had spent maybe 2 days just practicing, and it's a pretty simple one. It's just basically not one way and the other, so it's not too bad. While I waited for them to just really harden the resin and maybe just have some more fun, I found 2 ring bases, also from that pile of gifts that my friend gave me, and I was just like, why not? Let's go. And I had lots of fun that I bought more already, more bases, because I just loved making these rings. They're adjustable and they're just basic jewelry ring base, so it's nothing special, but I think it works. I don't usually wear a lot of rings, so I wasn't sure about the size, but I think it turned out okay. Now, after I sculpted both of them, I went for a base with acrylic pens because I had to stuck these to the base with resin as well. And the acrylic doesn't quite stick to the resin, so gouache doesn't stick to the resin. So I just went with my acrylic pens and just went to town with them, and I think it turned out pretty cool. This had a huge gap because this video I was trying to do different angles, and it just turned out that my head was on the way maybe 70% of the time, so that last pink ring, most of the process, my big head was just in the way, and I'm really sorry about that. When I record more things like this, I really have to just try and find a new angle and a better one, because that did not work at all. But I really like how the rings came out. I think they came out super adorable, and I'm just super excited to do more. You probably don't know this, but I really would like to just maybe make a career out of jewelry, more than art itself, more like prints and stuff, because I just really love the idea of something being wearable. Hence why I love making pens and rings and maybe earrings, and I'm actually thinking about doing like hair clips. So I'm super excited to just invest in this and see how it goes, and I'm just super excited. I love making jewelry. It's one of my passions. So these are all for sale. Some of them already been sold. One of the rings is already sold, and some of the pens as well. I have all of the round faces, but for the horns I only have 2, I believe. I think 3. I think I have 3. They are all in my shop, and I'm just super proud of them. I think these pieces are very special, and I just want to thank you so much for those who already got these pieces, and I'm just super excited that you guys like it. And like I said, as soon as I get more supplies, I'll do more. And I think I would really love to just make this an ongoing theme on my shop. Keep making these as long as they run out, of course. And I'm just super excited. The rings, I think it came out super adorable. I can't wait to also make earrings like this as well. So let me know if there's any sort of imagery you'd like me to create with these clays, because it's just so fun. Thank you so much for being here, for watching. As always, check out my Instagram, Skillshare. Patreon is also a thing now. I am so excited about it as well. We have 5 Patreons so far, and they're all lovely people. I'm going to start making the physical rewards this week. That is it. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!